Some people call me the space cowboy. Yeah. Some call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice, 'cause I speak of the pompatus of love. I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner, playing my music in the sun. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Wax on, wax off. I am the father. Why did it have to be snakes?
Welcome to the Biscuits and Gravy Odyssey. I'm your host, Chris.
And I'm Dennis. How you doing, bud?
Not too bad. How about you?
Doing good. It's let's say it's a Friday night.
Yes.
Start of the weekend. We're doing our show.
What could be wrong with that? Come on.
Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. Hey, so listen, I was looking at some numbers.
Yep.
And we've made mention in the past about some downloads going down in Germany. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so at a certain point, I thought that would maybe drop off or, whatever. But did you check the numbers?
Yeah, I was looking at them.
You see?
Yeah, so we still got some downloads in Germany already on the newest podcast.
The latest one?
Which at this point, at the time of us recording right now, was 2 days ago.
Right, so that means this person in Germany is into us.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, okay, we do know a lady, Nina is her name, and we call her German Nina.
German Nina, yes.
Because she's from Germany, great lady, and, kind of wondering if maybe we should ask her if she's got...
Originally from Germany, but...
Oh, yeah, she's from Germany.
Stateside now.
Oh, yeah, she's here. But she's got family,
so
maybe.
It could be family of German Ninas.
So I'm curious. We should ask her, because if it's not, then that means someone,
just found us.
I know. Wow.
So if you're out there right now,
yeah,
in Germany, listening to this podcast, do us a favor. Shoot us an email.
We would so
message
love
on Facebook, something.
We would so love to hear from you, because
we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean that for us, it's amazing to keep seeing these downloads from Germany. And we would love to hear from you. So the email, you can email us, right?
Yep. You can email us at bagopod@gmail.com or check us out on Facebook.
All the other,
all the social
stuff.
Media stuff.
You can find us, but
yep.
I mean, if you want to get a hold of us, do that email. Simple, and
yes.
we would truly love to hear from you and hear your story, and maybe it could turn into some kind of phone interview or something.
Could
we
you never know?
We don't know where this is going to.
You never know. So just reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Glad you're listening.
Yes, thank you very much. And so,
that was lovely.
I mean, you walked into that one.
No.
So,
you know what?
Give me the finger.
That's called softball and pitching to you.
I'm gonna flip my own father off.
Well, I thought you would. I wanted to see if you would. I know he would.
I just did.
Okay. So, anyways, remember that time?
We were driving.
Wait. Do you want to do this?
I'm recording. Let's just say it. Just say it.
Okay. So, we're driving back
real
from
quick.
We're driving back from camp one year, and I'm in the car with my son Lucas, and Chris was in his car with his son, and we're driving back from camp, and we're driving. and Chris is pulling up next to me. He's like gonna be passing me on the 1 lane and 3-lane highway there, and and I tell Lucas, I'm like, when Mr. Chris drives by, did I tell you to do the roll up window sign of flipping off?
Yeah.
And then back down?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm like, I thought it would be funny. And I'm like, hey, because they were younger then too. And I'm like, do that. So Mr. Chris comes driving by, and I lean back so he could see Lucas crank his finger up, middle finger up, and cranks it back down. And I remember the look on Chris's face, like appalled, like I couldn't believe that happened. And I immediately was like, oops, okay. Maybe that didn't play off like I thought.
I don't I mean, I guess
don't?
I guess I vaguely remember it, but I can't imagine why I would have been appalled.
Well, because they were young.
That's just so not in my nature.
No, but they were a lot younger.
We were very young.
They were
we were
young.
not in high school yet.
Yeah, okay. So they're probably in middle school still.
Oh, for sure.
So maybe at that point, from my point of view, in my vehicle, I'm like, oh, this will be funny.
I may have.
From your point of view, you're like this little kid. It's just flipped me off.
I may have looked appalled on purpose. I don't know. I just can't imagine I would have been naturally, like, actually appalled. I may have made myself.
No. You did, but then after the fact, when I did talk to you about it, you weren't appalled. You were just like, wow, I just couldn't believe he did that. And that's when I had to like tell you, oh, no. I told him to do that. I set that up.
It's probably just shock.
Yeah, I think it was more than that.
It was appalled. Can we get a count on how many times we just said appalled in that little conversation there?
Mad Duck appalled.
I think it was.
Leave a comment down below. How many times did we say appalled in the past 2 minutes?
There you go. Someone counted up and let
All
us
right.
know.
Well, how will we start this thing, huh? So
I guess at the beginning.
There you go. I like that. That is a good place to start.
It is.
All right. So
usually
Jokers. That's what we are talking about.
Joker. Yep.
So one of the iconic comic book superheroes, in my point of view, is definitely Batman. Mm-hmm. No superpowers or whatever, but he's right.
He's a favorite to many.
Right, and they have the perfect villain, and that is, to me, the Joker. I mean,
he is the yin to Batman's yang.
He is.
Whatever.
You want to talk about Batman's yang? Okay, that's cool.
But they are one.
And we can get into this with them too, but they are. What's great about them is they're not superpowers, either one of them, other than maybe super minds, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Right.
You know, Joker's a bit touched.
Joker's
in the head, but
he is touched, but
they can't fly.
No, neither of them can really do anything. I mean, the Joker just has a posse of.
So maybe that's something that's more relatable. That why maybe you like the Batman.
He looks funny because of,
and over the years, he's been portrayed by many people in film.
Many, yep.
So I'm gonna just go down this list real quick. The first filming, Batman was actually filmed. There was some Batman stuff filmed in the 40s. But, no Joker involved in that, and that was a little bit different. So, basically, what we're going to be going on is between 1966 and 2019. So, we got 5 here. First movie is Batman, the movie, in 1966, which, you want to talk about each Joker, or just do the list?
Let's do the list first.
Okay. Second movie is Batman, 1989. Third one's Dark Knight, 2008. Suicide Squad, 2016, and then Joker, 2019. Now, those are 5 cinematic movies. There's some other stuff that we'll talk about later, but those are the 5 movies we are going to be discussing the Jokers on. So, do you want to run us through each Joker real quick, just to say who played them?
All right, starting with the 1966 Batman movie. That was the actor Cesar Romero, played the Joker. In 1989, Batman, Tim
Burton.
Oh my God, I pulled a U. I just pulled it.
I'm rubbing off on you.
I almost said
You
Tim
like
Robbins. Tim Robbins. Oh,
Christopher Robbins.
Christopher Robbins.
Oh, poo. I've got no pants on.
But anyway, Tim Burton's Batman from 1989 was Jack Nicholson played the Joker.
Wait till they get a load of me.
In the 2008 Dark Knight, Heath Ledger played the Joker. In Suicide Squad, in 2016, Jared Leto played the Joker. And in the 2019 movie called The Joker, as we all know, Joaquin Phoenix played the Joker.
All right, so those are the 5 we're going over. So let's start with number 1. Let's start with the original on-screen Joker, which was
Cesar Romero.
Yeah.
Which I don't know a ton about. Do you know a lot about?
Well, here's the thing. Like
Cesar Romero?
Back then, I loved that series, and I loved that movie, and I got into it so much as a kid. But, yeah, I really don't know much about Cesar Romero. I don't. So
you know what?
What?
You know who I know would know about Cesar Romero?
Yeah, I think I got this. Yeah, go ahead. Ooh.
Joe.
We need to call him.
Let's ask Joe.
Lucas.
Yeah.
Could you call Joe?
You know, I got him on speed dial.
You got it.
When there's something you don't know, ask Joe.
Hello, this is Joe. What do you want to know?
Hey, Joe, it's Chris and Dennis. Had a quick question for you. We're recording our podcast, and we're talking about the Jokers, and we started out with, back in 1966, the Cesar Romero Joker, and realized we don't have a lot of knowledge about him, and we thought maybe you could help us out.
We both love that early first Batman, and we've watched it plenty of times, and we're huge fans of it, but in talking to each other, we really don't know much about Cesar Romero. So what can you tell us about him?
Cesar Romero, as a kid that was born in the 70s, he was my favorite. He, like you said, he played the Joker in the Batman TV series with Adam West and Burt Ward. And that series ran from 66 to 68. Joaquin Phoenix, he does a great job playing this character that's dark and tormented. But Cesar Romero, he played him as this goofball, this happy criminal that had that iconic laugh whenever he was causing chaos. One of the things I find really interesting about Cesar is that he had this mustache, and he refused to shave it off. So the show agreed to just cover it up with makeup, but you can definitely see it in all of his close-ups. Like Cesar Romero, he was born in New York City, and I think it was 1907. His mom was from Cuba. His dad was from Spain. Cesar served in the United States Coast Guard in World War II. But if you go down that rabbit hole of looking for interviews on him, you'll see, different sets when he was filming the Batman TV series or if he was doing some of his other movies. And he just comes off as this just very kind and gentle person. Now, if you think about all these other Jokers that have been out there, so you got, Joaquin Phoenix, deservedly won Best Actor back in 2020 for playing the Joker, second only to Heath Ledger, who also played the Joker for The Dark Knight, but he was awarded Best Supporting Actor posthumously. Then you've got Jared Leto, who's played the Joker in the Suicide Squad, and then in Zack Snyder's Justice League, where he had that very small cameo at the very end of that film. And then you got Jack Nicholson. And when he played the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman, and that was 1989. What you might find interesting is that when he was contracted to do that movie, he had agreed to make $6 million as well as a part of the box office cut for only 3 weeks of work. It eventually got pushed to about just over 3 months of work. but he was paid well for that. Which, funnily, it reminds me of Marlon Brando, who played Jor-El in the Superman the movie, which came out in 1978. And in that movie, he earned just under $4 million, and he got a percentage of the gross for only 12 days of shooting.
12 days of shooting, and he got how much?
Just under $4 million.
Wow.
We're in the wrong
Plus
business.
the cut of the gross.
We're in the wrong business.
Yes, we are. But you know what? That makes me think of something, Joe. I know you are a big Superman fan, and you brought up the Marlon Brando in the original Superman movie. I think that was one of the movies that we were going to possibly do on our podcast here. Would you be available to maybe come into the studio and do live, taping with us?
And Ask Joe live?
Ask Joe live in the studio for the whole episode.
That could be a lot of fun. Sure.
All right. Sounds great. We're going to have to get that one on the books.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. Oh, hang on a second, guys. I just got a text message. I got to go. Somebody just wants me to explain what laminar flow is.
What?
It's a water thing. I'll talk to you guys later.
Oh.
Okay. Bye, Joe. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Sure. Bye.
Laminar flow?
Yeah, I don't know.
What was that?
That's why they're asking Joe, I guess.
Okay, now we need him on the show because besides the Superman thing, I need to know what that was. Okay. Very interesting. I love that take on him. One of the key words popped out to me when he said that Joker was a happy criminal.
Yep.
And that's true. Like, obviously in the later Jokers, the portrayed some of them dark, some very dark, some kind of comical but still dark. But the original Joker, he had a dark side to him, but it was played, how would you say, like more, not comical, but there's still an element of darkness because he still would say things about like alluding to killing Batman and stuff, but happy criminal. I mean,
it was there was definitely a different kind of a different vibe you got from the Joker then than in really all the others. I mean, there was varying degrees of kind of psychoticness from the
definitely
different Jokers, but probably I don't know if it'd probably be questionable whether the worst being Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix as far as the craziness of them. But definitely varying.
But would you say,
degrees.
Okay, so if you think back at that Joker and watch him, even though it was a little, I don't want to say tongue-in-cheek or silliness, he, maybe it's due to his acting skills, so well acting the part, it still was a kind of diabolical character, you know?
It was. I mean, it was meant to be. I think some of the comical lightheartedness of the character was due to the times also. You're talking comparing a movie from 1966 to one much more recently, that things are just darker and,
If I might interject here really quick, though, because I was actually curious thinking about this before we recorded, and I thought now would be a perfect time to bring it up. He actually started off as kind of a dark character. His first comic book appearance, he actually killed 2 people using like a Joker venom that left them like smiling after they died. But then they brought him down when they got really like censorship wise. So he kind of started as like a darker comic book character.
Okay, so from my knowledge, it was in 1940, on the very first Batman that DC put out is when the Joker appeared. So you're saying in that, because I really don't know that comic book, or
from what I searched up, that's what he did.
That he actually
and then in
killed
1942
people.
They kind of brought him to, I guess, the more Cesar Romero style kind of prankster dark type of clown criminal.
What I love about that, I mean, maybe it's more innocent age or something, but it's just even his laugh is like an iconic Joker laugh. It's not a crazy laugh. I mean, I guess I keep going back. Happy Criminal.
Yeah.
That's a perfect. I guess Joe didn't know what he's talking about there. I think.
Yep.
But okay, so Caesar started that whole thing out, and then quite a number of years passed before 1989.
Yes, definitely.
And then we get the Tim Burton version, which, the mind of Tim Burton.
The mind of Tim Burton.
Everything he puts out is a little skewed.
It was a little different, and actually a lot of Tim Burton stuff was actually more kind of different and out there than even the two Batman movies that he made. The first being just Batman, and the one we're talking about because of the Joker being in it.
Would you agree that? But even then, our Joker has not yet turned into, I don't want to say a psychotic, even though Jack Nicholson played it. Tim Burton's Joker
it
was comic bookish
because Tim Burton's movie was a bit comic bookish. You know what I mean? That's why the Joker would be that way in the way I see it.
I mean,
the way I see it, that movie wasn't.
As far as the Jokers go, would you have to? I mean, Caesar and Jack would be probably the closest comparison of that type of Joker.
Oh yeah,
right.
If there was like a scale, and I'm thinking this because just had some chicken wings, okay, from the wing place. I'm not gonna the wing halt. We'll call it at this point. I'm not going to
unless they want to advertise.
Unless they want to pay us to advertise, but let's call them wing halt at this point. Just had some chicken wings, and if you know chicken wings, and if you go to somewhere that has chicken wings, they have a usually a chart that will say the lowest heat all the way up to the highest
heat index. Yep,
heat.
Got it.
So basically, you can look at the Jokers kind of in the same way. You have Cesar Romero in like the lowest mild heat,
right?
And then either Joaquin or Heath, not sure which, and like the what would you call
mango habanero atomic,
the ghost pepper type stuff up at the top. That would be them. Jack Nicholson's
Joaquin Habanero.
Jack Nicholson's like kind of a medium heat in there. That's just my stupid little comparison.
No, you're right on with that. And with Jack Nicholson, when those came out, I love them for what that is. I mean, all that Tim Burton stuff. It's a different Batman, but they're great. They're great. And Jack Nicholson's character, he was a perfect cast for Joker. There's a couple things I probably don't like. Like, one of the things I didn't like a lot, like after the fact, it was kind of cool at the time when it came out, but you know how he had that permanent grin from the chemicals that deformed his face?
Yes.
That kind of was like, that kind of, and for some reason, throughout the movie, he kept disguising himself with face paint to make him look like he was himself,
right? And
not the white face Joker, which was a permanent thing, which we'll see later with other Jokers. That's not the case, but with Jack Nicholson's Joker, and I didn't like how they kept kind of going to that.
See, that didn't bother me, and actually the smile that's played itself out in a lot of the other Jokers for different reasons.
But
for different reasons, you
I
know
guess
what I mean?
Because of the comic book nature of that type movie, looking back at it now when I rewatch it, it maybe seems a little silly.
Well, in the comic books, that's how he had it. It chemically burned his skin white and dyed his hair green.
And also, I think one of those things as far as that, because I know what you're talking about as far as the smile.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is kind of like with other things that we've seen. You're talking about 1989. Special effects aren't what they are now, even when it came to face makeup. So the smile wasn't quite the same as some of the more recent things that were done to, like a Joker, for instance, to make his face look
too much
that
prosthetics.
It looked phony. It looked
and maybe that's
a little bit. You know what I mean? So it was the
but
time.
You know,
it was what they could do.
I would agree with you, except they probably could have even done a little better job, because if you go with that analogy, look at Danny DeVito's Penguin. I mean, even at that time, with the same kind of technology, that look was spot on.
But the difference is, here's the difference.
Okay, what is it?
The reason why I think you're getting that feeling from Nicholson's Joker is because where his prosthetics were on his face, it was his mouth where he's talking, and that's where the goofiness looked. It looked goofy when he talked, because when he talked, you could tell it was his regular mouth.
Probably is right.
It was his regular mouth talking and saying the words with this goofy smile. Now, if that was something on the top of his head, well, then they could make that look cool.
Or a nose
and,
that's not.
And it's never moving. It's not moving. It's not So that's where I think you're. And I know exactly what you mean, because it did look goofy when he would talk. It was like it was like his normal mouth was hiding inside there, inside this big huge smile. It was still his normal mouth.
But like when it initially came out, I never thought that. This is revisiting. I guess this is like, does the movie hold up now?
Well, back in 1989, when I saw that movie in the theater, I was like, it was the coolest thing I had ever seen.
Oh, sure.
In my life.
And at that time, it was way darker than the Cesar Romero. It was such leaps and bounds ahead.
I mean, on nowadays scale, it wasn't that dark.
But
on that scale then, I mean, what did we see prior to that? Other than Batman, the original Cesar Romero Batman, what did we see? Superman, which we just talked to Joe, and we're going to end up doing that, talking about that in a future episode. But that one was not dark either. That was very comic. That was more like this.
Yeah.
It probably fell somewhere. Superman probably fell somewhere between the '66 Batman and the Tim Burton Batman, as far as its darkness and whatever. But it was still in between there. It still was closer to that,
Yeah, no, so I would agree. Hey, listen, we got to take a commercial real quick, and then we'll jump back into this.
Sounds good.
All right. This is really good chicken, hon.
You don't like it, I can tell. Just say it.
It's good, but...
But what? It's too moist, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just rather it be oily and not juicy.
Is your chicken too naturally juicy? Do you often think, why can't chicken soak up more grease? Then we have the answer to your prayers. The all-new Dry and Fry Chicken Kit, a Bagco brand, will prepare your chicken to soak up the most oils possible. The process is simple. First, you take your fresh, raw chicken and place it in the patented dryer bag. Then, add the dryer flavor sheet of your choice. We offer ranch, barbecue, or buffalo, sold separately. Then place it in your clothes dryer for one full cycle. Then you can bread and fry as you normally would.
Wow, this chicken is great. And I'm not just saying that. It's so greasy.
Thanks to Dry and Fry, our chicken will never be moist again.
All right, well, welcome back. And I'm excited about this next part because we've done Caesar, we've done Jack.
Yep.
Classics. And I'm going to have to say this next one, Dark Knight, 2008, Heath Ledger.
Outstanding.
To me, at that point, it took that Joker into a darkness, but not crazy darkness. It was like a, I don't know. It was mesmerizing.
It was, I would say crazy, personally. That's
well,
because it was a different
It wasn't the hottest on the heat index.
No, it's not the. Well, I don't know.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But
I'm not sure. It's up there.
Okay.
His Joker was so. It wasn't like comical at all. He joked in it. Don't get me wrong. And he thought he was funny.
But
he thought he was funny, but he was insane thinking he was funny.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Because what I have in some notes is that I agree. It wasn't written as a comical, but it still was. Because think of the scenes when he's in the hospital in the nurse's outfit, and at the end he's leaving there and he's hitting the detonator button and blowing up all these buildings. He's walking away, and he's in a nurse outfit, so he looks silly immediately. And he looks back and sees obviously not all the bombs went off. And he's shaking the detonator, and he's hitting it, and he's kind of like,
I'll give you that. That was funny.
What's going on here?
You're
and
right.
then they blow up, and he's like, whoa, and he runs off. I mean,
there were some parts like that. You're right.
So it still had this. It made him a lovable kind of villain, and the whole thing of
there was a likableness about him. There was, but he was just.
Oh, he was dark,
and it was the insanity.
Yeah.
It was like literally like they all are insane, but Romero was totally different.
No. I agree. He wasn't
Nicholson was like a bad guy. He was just like a regular, I don't want to say regular, but he was like you'd seen you could change his look to a regular person, and his exact role, lines and everything, could fit into another movie that's not even Batman, and he's just the bad guy.
Right.
It's not. He's just kind of a bad guy. Whereas this was the one that was like serious, like
you could see him going to Arkham.
Insanity.
Heath's character, you could see him being put in Arkham,
and he did it so good. He was so good at it.
And I loved how, at this point, I suppose, this would be the first Joker that, prior to Jokers, their white face paint, that's their skin tone. That was due to their chemical. And what I loved to see about this one, it put more of a human face on him, because Heath's Joker, it was obviously face paint he put on, because there's scenes with him that he's got half rubbed off, which made it more realistic, which made it feel like he was just this crazy dude.
Right.
And the extent that he went to, like in that scene when he goes to the mob bosses and tries to talk about killing the Batman.
Yeah.
He's got the dynamite on him and everything. I believe it's that scene he talks about, I don't plan things out. I just do things, whatever comes in my mind. That whole little speech thing, it just shows you he isn't this calculating kind of villain like that, but he's just out there.
Yeah, he's just crazy. He's not the brilliant mind,
right,
figuring stuff out and calculating it out for years or whatever. He's in the now. He's just crazy.
Now, the Joker that would be closest to that calculating villain, which I might have to say might be my least favorite, not that it's bad, but Jared Leto. That character of Joker, he doesn't have his own.
Well, this is it. Actually, Jared Leto's on our list of 5 here, and if you're a fan of ours, Jared Leto, I deeply apologize, because I actually I enjoy your work. I even enjoyed, it's Morbin time, to tell you the truth. I actually thought that movie was a lot better than a lot of people did, probably, because I didn't have a lot of expectations for it. And so then when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is wasn't that bad. But anyway.
Wouldn't you say Jared's Joker was more calculating?
Yes, it was. He was
the criminal mastermind.
He was the mastermind type, the usually the one that like Mr. Glass, the one in the wheelchair,
right,
really smart, with the big brain. The only reason I say that it's him being in this list is, he could have been out of it, is because it's not
And he hasn't
the
had
movie.
like
The movie that he was in, he wasn't a huge role in.
I mean,
Let's put it that way. He
all
was, you know,
he's been on screen has been a supporting character.
he was the Joker in Suicide Squad, which
And the
was
Snyder
mainly, and then it was a post credit scene in the Snyder cut.
Okay.
Not to take anything away from him, but he's kind of not really at the
the
level of the rest of the Jokers as far as his screen time.
I think
and stuff
he needs
as
to be
the Joker.
added to.
But
this.
it is a major movie, so that's why he's on here.
Well, I think he needs to be added to this just for the fact of it was an interesting new take on the Joker.
It was.
It wasn't the longer hair kind of. He was more classy.
Yes, but he was also
He had a grill.
He had the
right?
grill.
I mean, come on.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. He was a different.
He was tats.
He was the
Post Malone kind of look.
He was the in the club, like the Joker, the kingpin in the back room of the club. You know, you didn't see that as the Joker and
right.
He was like, it's a younger person's Joker.
Right. Right. So that was different.
It was very different.
But that's why I do agree he should be in this, but also like you said, he wasn't a major.
It wasn't
player.
like Batman and the Joker, like in most of the other cases of this.
And okay, so for me, this next one, I want to spend a little time on just okay, Joaquin, the movie The Joker. For me, it did what they set out to do, and he deserves all the credit for that role. But for me, it made me so uncomfortable, which I'm sure that was their purpose. That was a movie about mental illness. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a movie about a supervillain, and it was portrayed excellent, but to the point where I felt, when you watch those movies that are so good that it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's
what I got watching that. I watched it once, and I don't know if I could watch it again. And that's credit for what they did, but I don't know, man.
But it was a different take on the Joker. It was, I mean, it like you said, it's about mental illness, and that's kind of more what the. But
isn't that too real then? Isn't that taking all these things? All these Jokers are psychos, and they kill people, and they do bad things, but because it's a fictional fantasy kind of comic book bad guy, you don't think about it like that. But in this movie, they made it real.
This had no comedy. I mean, I wouldn't say it had no comedy, because there were some there was a moment here or there, kind of similar to Heath Ledger. There was moments here and there that was funny, but for the most part, this was not a comedy. He laughed, but even when he laughed, all you saw was pain, because he couldn't help himself from laughing. So even when he laughed, that wasn't even funny. It was because it was he couldn't stop himself from laughing.
It was a nervous tick.
It was his nervous, right?
Because you've seen it in the scene
where
he'd start laughing, and then
he had the card to give people.
He would cut off
to say, "I'm not laughing at you. Yeah. I'm just whatever." So it was really, I don't know. It was a.
But to me, that's not
it
the Joker.
It almost isn't a Joker.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It almost isn't. It is, but it almost isn't, because it's so different. That's why it came out in recent times, but it's not linked with any other Batman, DC.
Yeah, it's a standalone
group. It's completely different, because they can't really tie that into anything.
Like how you said with what was it, Jack Nicholson? How you said that character could be, if you took the Joker out of it, that he could have played. Yeah. So same thing with the Joker movie. If you take the Joker out of that and it was just a story about this guy, it would just been a story about
could have just been that
psycho.
Yep.
And I don't know, was it uncomfortable for you to watch?
A little bit. I mean, it's just an uncomfortable movie.
Did you feel sad for him? And, and just
well, it definitely gave you. More than most, it gave you a sympathy for him.
It made you think about true mental illness.
It made you you really sympathized with anything he did. You were like, yeah, that's horrible, but look at what he Look what got him here. Look what what was done to him.
So this
to
is
get
what I
him
don't
to
like
this
about
point.
it. And I'm not taking anything away from that because mental illness is a thing and it's horrible. But what this movie did for me is it interjected that into a comic book type character that you don't think that. Back in Jack Nicholson, or even Heath Ledger's Joker, you never thought, because that was just a character in a movie that was a supervillain. So you don't sympathize to that point. But in this one, it's like in your face.
But when you think about it, in actuality, shouldn't they all have made us think that? Because shouldn't every Joker that's ever been made have that kind of mental illness that made them the Joker? I mean, couldn't you look at this and say this is the purest depiction of the Joker ever?
You're right there.
Because
you are right there.
This is how they all probably came to be.
I guess where I have my
whatever.
problem, and you're right, we should probably think that way, but
No, I know.
but the Joker movies, or any of the Jokers, or any villain in any superhero movie could have a backstory that makes you feel a certain way, but those type movies for me, especially the superhero movies, those are escapism. It's this is the bad guy. He's got these qualities, but he's still the bad guy. And here's the good guys, and they're gonna fight, and they're gonna do this and that. So, in my mind, I could write off that. Oh yeah, that Heath Ledger. He was crazy Joker in there. Whoa, he But I still don't feel sympathy, even when he talks about all those stories. Oh, my dad. We know my dad did, and he cut my. What's so serious and all that. It still didn't invoke a feeling of I felt pity for him. I was just like, oh, that's a great character, because in my head, it's fictional. It's a super villain. You don't.
Well, it's all fictional. Every movie we watch, unless it's a documentary, is fictional.
That's
and you
what
can
I'm
look
saying.
at it, and you can look at it that way. But you're looking at
Joaquin's.
You're looking at these as comic books.
But Joaquin's did not come
Does
across
not come
to
across
me.
like a comic book.
So that's what was like. Oh.
But it does come across like
But
what the true Joker should really have been.
Oh, I agree, and I give them total props for making that movie, because if you can make a movie that makes me feel uncomfortable like that, not in a bad way where I just turned it off, but I watched it, and they invoked an emotion, and that's what films are supposed to do.
And that's why it's perfect for what it is.
Oh yeah, it is,
because that type of emotion and that type of seriousness of these characters in their truest form couldn't happen in every Marvel movie we watch. You couldn't be that serious. You have to have the more lighthearted.
I would go to what he would say. Why so serious? It's, I guess, a part of me thinks, don't take my escapism Joker villain and turn him into a reality and actually make me think about that. Not that that's wrong to think about mental illness.
You just don't want to think.
No, not well. When you go to watch a Avenger movie or a Batman movie, no, you don't. You want to escape the actual real world.
To play devil's advocate for that movie, because I had seen it like 4 times in theaters, because I just thought, as kind of almost scary and like you were saying, uncomfortable, I just still thought it was a great movie, but it never marketed itself as that Marvel superhero movie. Like, you watched it and you knew when you were going to go see it, you were going to see, especially when it said that it was going to be rated R, you knew you were going to see a pretty dark story. So to play devil's advocate, you knew going into there.
No, I did. I guess my whole
movie.
point is taking something that was an escapism for me of a villain and a portrayal of that villain, taking that to a level beyond my comfort zone for that character.
Yep, I get you. I totally get where you're coming from.
All right, listen. I need to regroup here.
You going through like some?
Oh my God, yeah.
PTSD about about that time you watched Joker. Oh my God, it's all coming back to me now. I need to take a break.
Kudos to them for making me feel that way. Well done, guys. All right, let's go to a commercial, and then we'll come back and wrap this thing up. All right, sounds great. Hey, dude. I didn't know you handled the grocery shopping for your family.
Yeah, Susie doesn't like to shop. Too long on her feet. She has that sciatica problem. I've been thinking about starting to do my ordering online and picking it up. But I just noticed that they moved the curbside spots to the back of the lot. Isn't that strange?
You haven't seen them use that yet?
No, why? Am I missing something?
Oh, yeah. Here comes a car. Check this out. Okay, now that they've parked, they should be notifying the store that they're here.
Okay. Not seeing anything unusual here.
Just wait. It gets better. Okay, now that they popped their trunk.
What the heck is that?
That, my friend, is a catapult. See? They have all the groceries in that big burlap sack that they're going to place in the bucket. Now they're aiming it for the trunk.
That was crazy. Okay. I definitely need to try that.
I just wouldn't order eggs.
All right, welcome back.
All right, Chris. I got 2 questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Shoot,
baby. Out of the 5 Jokers we just listed, you have to pick the best Joker for you.
The best Joker for me.
Who is your favorite Joker out of those 5 we picked to review? And I have a follow-up also.
I am going to say, even though I think Joaquin Phoenix was probably the truest form of the actual character Joker we've ever seen. I am going to say Heath Ledger because I think he did the.
Okay.
He was the most. He had, like you said, he had the comical parts to it. He did have that funniness, but he was deeply disturbed. Not just a bad guy. He was deeply disturbed as well, and he did such a good job at doing that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So I have a follow-up question, which it could be one and the same. Out of those 5, probably is going to be one and the same. What Joker would you be? If you could be any one of those Jokers, which one would you be? I mean, it might not be the same, but it might be the same.
What Joker would I be?
Would you be?
Personally.
So we know that you like the Dark Knight Heath Ledger Joker as the best Joker of the 5.
If me, myself.
If your life...
If I was going to be the Joker.
One of these Jokers.
Who would I want to be?
Who would you be out of those 5?
Oh, I mean, I don't think I'm disturbed enough to be either Heath
yeah, you are.
Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix.
You're probably a level above Joaquin, but okay.
If for me to be, I don't know. I might say Jared Leto. Actually,
yeah, get some face tats.
Get some face tats.
Some face tats.
You want a grill?
I want to get a grill. I'll be that. I wouldn't mind being that kingpin in the back room of the strip club. You know, I mean, come on.
And have Harley Quinn?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, Mr. J.
I'm Jared Leto, baby.
Yeah.
Are you Margot Robbie then?
I could be your Harley Quinn.
No, I'm good.
All right. So, for me, best would be Heath Ledger. And for me, I would be Heath Ledger. If I could be any one of them, I would be Heath Ledger.
Okay.
But you know what? It's kind of funny because if we think about both of our personalities,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I could see you as the Jared Leto.
You could, you?
I could. And I don't know. You tell me. Okay, you tell me which one.
Which of these five guys
Do you think I am?
Do you think would if you looked at all five of those those Jokers of those characters, which one do you think you'd find in a karaoke bar?
Yeah, that'd be Jared.
There you go. Okay.
I could also see Cesar Romero.
Yeah, well, that would be my second
maybe
choice.
Cesar Romero. Okay, that's a distant second.
But a better question is, if I looked at you and said, okay, which Joker is Chris? Closest to Chris, I would have to say Jared. So, my pick is Heath. But you tell me, out of those five, which one is closest to me? Doesn't have to be Heath if that's not what you think. But which one?
Probably Caesar.
Caesar?
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Really?
Why? Just that
I would
goofy,
go with Caesar.
funny personality. I feel like Caesar's the closest to you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Also, just really quick, some stuff that I thought I'd bring up to you guys. I don't know if you know, but since we kind of ended with the last Joker, which was Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, this is the first time, obviously besides the whole Jared Leto cameo in the Snyder Cut, but this is the first time that we're going to see a Joker come back for a feature film. Joker 2 got greenlit under the same director, Todd Phillips, which, interesting enough, directed Hangover. So to see him do a complete genre jump with Joker, I think is just just a testament to his directing skills.
Have they started production?
This is like recent. Like they just posted a picture with Joaquin Phoenix with the script in his hands.
Oh wow!
But on the script it said Joker folie à deux. It's like a French term that when you search it up, it actually means like a mental illness shared by two people. So, also there was rumors that Lady Gaga got casted. So we might be seeing like a dark
as a Harley Quinn,
and it's also obviously because this is very early. It was a rumor that it's all going to take place in Arkham Asylum because that's where he ended up, and it might just be their combined insanity. Also, really strange, which I don't know if I'm that against because you never know with these movies. They rumor that it might be like a musical, like there might be a musical element. So I mean,
like Grease.
Like I was thinking more Jailhouse Rock.
Oh,
that's
my God!
All right.
Oh, okay. You know what? As you were just saying that, I just thought in my mind, like, oh my God, I gotta watch something else that's gonna make me feel. I mean, that's how deeply impact that movie made on me.
All right. We went. You took your pill and everything. We got the PTSD out of the way. You got your pill.
That shows you how much of a well-made movie that was.
You serious? Yeah. It
All
affected
right.
you. All right.
Well, listen, this has been a great night. I really enjoyed this.
I got a couple honorable mentions. I do want to say.
You do now.
For Jokers, we talked about our main five.
Sure.
There were a couple dozen kind of people that did things here and there, voice Jokers, things like that. But just a few honorable mentions I want to mention here. First on the honorable mention list is the great Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, because he has voiced Batman in the Batman animated series as well as a number of other things, and he's probably one of the most recognized Jokers aside of the five that we talked about.
To tell you the truth, up to about 2 years ago, I didn't even realize he did that.
Oh, you didn't?
No. And when I found out, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, he's
Skywalker. He's the best.
He's voices a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Cameron Monaghan, who played the Joker in the Gotham series.
Yeah.
I haven't really caught on to that one.
I started watching that, but I didn't get into it. So I mean,
I just wanted to give the mention because it's people watch the series and stuff. Zach Galifianakis.
What?
Did the voice of Joker in the Lego Batman movie?
I did not know that.
Have to bring that up. Good old Zach Galifianakis.
Between two ferns.
Between two ferns.
Nice, nice. That's awesome.
There's a couple guys, which I'll bring them up here. Hugo Blick, who played Jack Napier in the Tim Burton Batman, when they flash back when Jack Napier shoots his parents, and who actually becomes the Joker, Jack Napier.
Someone did some research. Nice.
And then also David Hodges plays Jack Napier, funny enough, in the exact same scene, but they reshoot the scene in Batman Forever, because they didn't want to use the old footage, so they reshot the scene, did it pretty much the exact same way, but used a new actor. That was that one. And that was it, except for I was going to do a mention of Randy Spears, who played Batman played Joker in the Batman XXX porn version of Batman.
I did not realize they had that.
The things you find on the internet when you research your podcast.
Like Randy Spears.
Not that I've ever seen it personally.
Well, Mr. Chris, I think you just took this PG podcast to another level.
I didn't say nothing. I just.
So is that the Joker you would want to be then? If you could,
what? Maybe. Could be.
Okay, he wasn't on the list. But yeah, that probably would be. All right. Well, listen. We had a great time tonight. I hope you guys liked this. Please give us a rate and review, and email us at bagopod@gmail.com. And
yes, and follow us Instagram at Biscuits and Gravy Pod, all one word. Twitter at B&G_pod, and or Facebook at Bago Podcast. Like I said, like Dennis said, check us out on any of the podcast platforms, including YouTube. We are now on YouTube, so just look us up.
Real easy.
Biscuits and Gravy Odyssey.
And real quick, keep sending those emails in, because we want to do some more mailbag segments and hear from you guys, and we're going to read whatever you guys write for us. So.
Yes, even those of you that aren't in Germany, you can email us too.
Yes, but especially
if you're in Germany.
Do we call him Mr. German?
I don't know.
Or Mrs. German?
I don't know.
Okay, well, whoever it is, please let us know. All right, well, I'd like to send out a lot of love to all you people out there, and stay gold.
Bye-bye.
Why did it have to be snakes?
Deservedly won Best Ass Oscar. Do it again. I'm sorry. How you doing?
Perfect.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome, guys. Have a good night.